Hope everybody's doing good. I'm planning on finishing these exercises and then, yeah, I don't know what I'll do from there. I might look over some old projects and organize my GitHub a little. Make sure only the happy face looks in the other/reverse direction by changing the fragment shader. Okay, so our first one, we want to change our fragment shader. So let's see, that means we probably want to change, so we're taking in the texture coordinate. By changing the fragment shader, we want to make it look the other way. So we're like reversing it. To reverse a fragment shader, effectively flipping it horizontally and vertically, modify the texture coordinates before sampling. Okay, so that way so we could do something like our texture coordinate is a vec2, so text coord equals vec2 1.0 minus okay, I mean okay, so that flipped it upside down. We don't want to change the y, we just want to change the x. Oh, but we need to have something in there for the y, so it would be just 0, I believe. I think that the texture coordinates are only between 0 and 1, so... .0 to 1.0. It's getting there. Okay. That's better. I think all that point we just need to do 1 instead of 0.5. Yeah, we did it. Okay. So we got exercise 1 done. So basically we flipped the x coordinate and reversed it to be looking the other way. Okay, awesome. So the next thing that we want to do is experiment with the different texture wrapping methods. By specifying texture coordinates in the range, 00F to 2.0F. Instead of 0 to 1.0. See if you can experiment with other wrapping methods as well. Hey, how's it going? I'm hoping I'm saying this right. Aditya Tiwari. Yo, what's up? I hope I said your name right. I'm really bad with names, so forgive me on that. I'm working on OpenGL right now. I guess. Oh, okay. Let me introduce myself. So I'm Justin. I'm a software engineering major. I'm currently in my last semester before I get my bachelor's degree. I mainly specialize in C++ programming. At least that's what I've been doing a lot of recently. I really like lower level stuff, but right now I'm learning graphics programming, specifically OpenGL, so that I can build my own text editor, and eventually my long-term goal is to build a game engine. But before I build the game engine, I want to build a few small programs to get the familiarity of OpenGL and like how graphics programming works. So yeah, right now I'm building I'm kind of following the tutorials of OpenGL and learning as I go. So I'm testing out a bunch of different texture and shader. Well, right now I'm working on textures. So you see the smiley face and the crate on the screen. Those are textures that I have wrapped over a vector type object that I have made. So it's an array essentially of vertices that are then colored in with pixels, and then you can wrap textures over that. So I wrapped an image over that. Welcome everybody. Thank you guys. Oh, also, let me get the Discord. I keep forgetting. I have a Discord. Let me get the link for you guys. I just created it, so I'm still working on getting it nice and like set up. But let me paste it in here. Okay, there's the Discord. I pinned it. Yeah, I got you. I'm also into same niche, low-level stuff in graphics programming. Yeah, I've just really liked C++ and C, and I don't know. I personally just struggle with web development stuff. It's just a lot of different. I'm active on Discord. We'll join once I get into it. Okay, sounds good, man. But yeah, what I was saying is, like, I've tried to get into web development. I don't know if it's really my thing. Like, I just like solving problems, and when there's so much information and so many libraries, it's really overwhelming for me. I like being able to handle it all by myself and build it. It's more satisfying, but I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not willing to work in an environment where I have to make it work. That's kind of how work is supposed to work. Okay, anyways, let's go to our texture. Oh yeah, okay, before I do anything, I want to clean up this file, because I have it named as text wizard, but honestly, this is just going to be my OpenGL. Like, this isn't going to be my program yet, so I'm honestly going to delete a lot of this stuff for now. Including, I'm going to rename, I'll do that in a little bit. So, how long have you been into graphics stuff? I literally just started 3-4 days ago. I've been streaming every day, and one of my videos got like, one of my streams got like 1.3k views, and it's been drawing a lot of people in, but I literally just started doing graphics programming, and it's been really fun. I'm just following the tutorials. I take a very traditional approach to learning where I write everything down. So I literally have probably like 10 pages right now of like notes that I take, because like a lot of people jump through videos and stuff, but I really like writing stuff down by hand, and I learn it a lot quicker. And I also, the reason I started streaming is to kind of keep myself accountable in my learning. So I have found that like talking to an audience of some sorts, or even talking out loud, helps me retain what I'm learning a lot better. So right now we just have that box being drawn, but actually if I wanted to do something like, I actually have 3 different vertices, or like arrays for different triangles even. I'm honestly just going to stick with the box for now, because I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to go through and change some of this stuff. Like, I just need to clear up this space. Hey, did this Discord invite expired? Did you check the one in the chat by chance? I just pinned it into the chat. Let me update the one in the videos, or in the description as well. Okay, the one in the description is updated right now too, so you guys are good to try that. Let me know if it works. Oh, here, let me unmute that, sorry. Thank you guys for subbing, I appreciate it. Happy to have you guys along the journey. Okay, and also if you guys have any questions ever about what I'm talking about, or like questions about software engineering or learning, I love to talk about it, so feel free to ask anytime. So we can honestly, we don't have any other VAOs, so we can just delete these for now. And this is just called vertices. Okay, now this should work. Yeah, okay, that's still working. Awesome. Also, welcome Neil. I'll just call you Neil. Hope that's okay. Welcome to the stream, man. Okay, let's see. Also, let me know if the audio's good, like the music, everything. Also, I'm just gonna, let's see, cleaned up files. I really want to learn NeoVim. Like, I think after I do this, I want to learn Vim. I'm really bad with, like, touch type. Like, I can touch type, but, like, I don't know, it's a learn curve for sure. Hey man, I also like C and C++, but I'm at that point where I didn't even start my career yet. I'll start uni soon, but I don't know, man. Sometimes when you ask AI and it does everything, I kind of lose hope for building stuff. Do you have any advice for me? Actually, I do, yeah. Give me one sec. Sorry about that. Someone was trying to call me on Discord. I'm gonna close Discord. I would say my biggest piece of advice, if you're not even in university yet. One sec. Someone keeps calling me. My biggest piece of advice is to first think about what university or college will offer you. So like, what are you going in to gain? Are you gaining a career out of it? Are you trying to get just knowledge? I mean, there's lots of things to think about. I would say that if I was starting over college, I would really stick to learning the fundamentals really well. So let me kind of break down this a little bit better. Break this down a little better. I'm a weirdo and I like to use whiteboards to draw stuff out because it's helpful. Also, I'm sorry if I blind you just now. I realized it's not in dark mode, or yeah, it's not in dark mode. So forgive me for that. I hope that there's a light or a dark mode. I don't think there is. Let me just close the screen a little bit. Basically, here's my thoughts. You have a programmer. And then you have an engineer. A programmer is really someone who knows how coding works, knows how computers works, is pretty good at coming up with solutions. An engineer, though, that's what you want to aim to be. If this is your goal, whether it's a software engineer or computer scientist, you really want to think about problem solving. So your main thing that you want to learn is how to problem solve. So take something very big and abstract and break it down into small pieces. That's kind of what I'm doing right now with this program. I'm not even building an engine yet because I need to know how to build the smaller parts of it first. So take a big problem and problem solve it. Another big thing is learn a lower level programming language like C. That's my biggest recommendation. And learn Python because everybody uses Python. But also, if you really if you're scared about AI, definitely think about where AI is actually good because it can be really useful for learning if you use it right. Don't ever use AI to cheat yourself out of your education. That's something that a lot of people make mistakes in doing. Also, in the Discord, I have a discussions forum that you can post questions in, and I can answer more in depth. But I'm gonna answer these other comments. How are you like just rendering some textures right now? Anything specific? I think I know the basics like variables, types, etc. But getting all those things and making a project out of it doesn't really make sense in my mind. Okay, let me answer your question in a sec. How are you rendering textures? So we learned about this on LearnOpenGL.com. A texture is essentially, it's really complicated, but we're taking a texture coordinate. So think of like a coordinate 0, 0 or 0, 1. A texture has coordinates just like a triangle does on a graph, or like a point does on a graph. A texture has a range that is normalized, and so we essentially have to find the range, set the texture coordinate, which is what we actually do right here. So we have right here, we have our positions, colors, and texture coordinates. Our position is for the object that we're making. And then also, if we look right here in our bin. So we see this is a rectangle. This is 2 triangles that make up this entire image. And then our colors have coordinates as well. So basically everything is math when it comes to this. You're storing everything in vertices and vertex notation. And then you have an EBO, which is an element buffer object, I believe is what it's called. And that stores the indices of these coordinates and is able to store those and put them in a buffer, which is a storage component in memory. And then we basically have a whole bunch of stuff that with textures that we can use these methods that OpenGL has to create a texture, wrap it, and then we can also load an image. So for example, this container images are I have this main.jpg, so actually let me show you really quick. We could load main.jpg instead of the container. And if we remake the file, it's instead of the crate, it's the little stone path thing, which is awesome. So that's one thing that's really cool, is it's very modular in that way. Hey, what's up, Super? I'll just call you Super. Thanks for joining the stream, man. Feel free to join the Discord. It's pinned in the comments and in the Discord, or in the description. But yeah, right now I'm doing the exercises on Learn OpenGL. So right now it's asking me to try the different rendering method or wrapping methods. So we can see here, this repeats the texture, this mirrors the texture, this clamps it to the edge of the coordinates, and then this clamps it to the border. So there's a lot of different things that are involved with textures and coordinates and all that. There's a lot of math with graphics programming that I've learned so far, which I actually suck with math. So this is really good practice for me to learn this stuff. But yeah, it's really fun. I'm having more fun than I've had in a long time with like programming in specific. Anyways, Neil, let me answer your question now. So you know the basics of variables, types, etc., but getting all those things and making a project out of it doesn't really make sense in my mind. Okay. Let me think for a second. Let me ask you this: what kind of projects have you tried? And what is your steps? What steps do you take to solving a problem in real life as you would in programming? So, do you break down the big concept of the program into smaller pieces first? That's the biggest thing with programming, is like you can't go straight into coding sometimes. You have to write it down on paper or like whiteboard the solution. Anyone else have any questions? Sorry, I'm yapping like crazy. Okay, so if we look up here, we have these different textures. So we have our text parameters. So this one uses GL repeat. So what if we did mirrored repeat? So let's try that. Also, I'm much more likely to answer these questions more like personably and in depth if you go into the Discord and ask in the forum. Okay, mirrored repeat. I think I need to also set that here. Okay, so that, I think that, actually I don't think that's going to work, because we need to, That's following a specific pattern. Let me think. Hey Justin, I liked your video, your vibe. I liked your vibe, to be honest. I like similar to my kind of approach in dev and all this stuff. Looking to connect over socials, if you don't mind. LinkedIn, Insta. Have you tried? Yeah, reach out to me in Discord and I can talk to you about LinkedIn and stuff. I appreciate you messaging me though. Have you tried Vulkan? Dude, I I actually am starting with OpenGL because it's actually a lot easier. I've looked into Vulkan and it's like so much more because there's like Vulkan pipelines and a lot of different math that you have to do. Vulkan gives you so much pain. Yeah, Vulkan is like so much more powerful and it gives you a lot more control, but dude, it's freaking hard. You mentioned earlier touch typing. I learned PBR. Takes some time, but it's so worth it. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe KeyBR. I don't know if I've heard of that. KeyBR.com. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I would love to check this out. Thanks for showing me that. I will, I'll put that in another, I'll put this in another tab for sure. Also, I gotta show you guys this. Someone showed me in my stream earlier this really cool browser simulation, and I'm like, this is exactly what I would love to build in OpenGL or like a graphics library. But look at this, it's literally a driving simulator in the browser, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I just wanted to show you guys that. But it also, it's procedurally generated, so it's like Minecraft where the worlds are continually generated. But actually, while we're doing this really quick, I'll show you guys some examples of textures and what we're learning right now. So if you can see the grass right now, that's a 3D texture. So it has 3D coordinates, meaning it is comprised of various coordinates that make it 3D. So it has an X, Y, and Z vector. I don't know if vector is the right word. It has an X, Y, and Z coordinate that make it up into a 3D object. Whereas 2D coordinates are typically just X and Y axis. But yeah, this is like really fun. I found this today and I'm like, dude, I love how relaxing this is. But I just wanted to show you guys that. Anyways. Okay, so I got distracted again. You once got 300 kilometers per hour. That's crazy. Okay, so also, yeah, this is a good example. Our memory, our buffer, we have our vertex. So like, we have our X, Y, and Z. Then we have our RGB values, and then we have our texture coordinate values. So it's like really cool how it works. It's made memory management a lot more clear to me. Not memory management, just how memory and RAM work and all that. These are some pretty funny pictures, I won't lie. Okay. Experiment with the different texture wrapping methods by specifying the texture coordinates in the range of 0 to 2.0 instead of 0 to 1. Okay, so that I think would be in here. So I think this would be, let's try this. Oh, we can see that made it smaller. Interesting. Okay, see if you can just display 4 smiley faces on a single container. Image clamped at its edge. Let me look at the result. Oh, interesting. Okay, let me try this. Where am I from though? I'm in the United States. Okay, so we want to get four smiley faces drawn. Let's think about this. I guess we could technically put it in another vertex array object. Let me think about this. Display 4 smiley faces on a single container. Okay, so I guess our main goal then is to split this image into 4 images. So our bottom left would be 0, 0. So our first one would be like 0, 0, 0.25 for like the first corner. Want to make 4 smileys in 1 square or 4. I want to do it in 1 square. So that means we need to load the texture in 4 different coordinate places. So our texture coordinates right here are right. So we have 1, 1, which is the top right. We have our bottom right, which is 1, 0, 0. So that means I think we would need to do I'm trying to think about this. It's tricky. Oh, I see. Okay, so we can change these to 2 instead of 1. Let's start with that. Oh, there we go. Okay, that makes sense. There we go. So we got our 4 smileys. Currently, are you rendering 1 smile in a single triangle or 2 combined? So it's 2 triangles that we have 2 triangles rendering, but our texture coordinates basically just cover 1. With having it just 0 to 1, it had 1 singular texture, but I'm guessing that doubling it made it so there was 4 instead. So. Okay, so we got that step done. That's good. Now, see if you can display 4 smileys on a single container, image clamped at its edge. Okay, so in each of these corners, I'm trying to figure out how because we need to, I know what we need to do when it comes to getting the texture, like the different texture options, but let me think about this. Let's scroll up and look at these options. Look at that. We did it. That makes some more sense now. So we had to clamp the texture to the edge, which makes all of these whack. Okay. I think I understand what that meant. I was just confused because I thought it was asking me I thought it was asking me to define 4 different texture filtering modes on one texture, and I was really confused on that, but that makes sense. It basically just uses the coordinates to apply that filter. It clamps it, and so anything that is outside that range is basically just whack and weird. Like, it doesn't filter it correctly. It spreads the filter out. Okay, so we got that exercise done, which is awesome. I think I need to choose a better image. These are so stupid. I'm trying to find like a good image to replace. This is pretty funny. I'll do this one. Why not? Never mind, it's a WebP. I don't know if any of you guys like Jujutsu Kaisen. I love the Gojo meme of not I'd win. Fits perfectly, yeah. Where is it? Here it is. Data, textures. Oh, but it keeps giving me WebP. Oh, whatever. I hate this. I hate the WebP. But wait, I guess WebP will still work because our library supports different types. So just kidding. Alright. Okay, that didn't work. I guess just kidding, that won't work. The one type that I try and make. That's fine. I'm spending way too much time on this. Okay, so our next exercise. Try to display only the center pixels of the texture image on the rectangle. Of the texture image. On the rectangle in such a way that the individual pixels are getting visible by changing the texture coordinates. Try to set the texture filtering method to GL nearest to see if the pixels more clearly. Okay. Oh, let me see. Sorry. Use the image extractor extension. It gives you all the images in all formats. I don't know how it works in Mac, but in Windows I added a script in the context menu that uses FFmpeg to convert formats. I once wrote a C# program which used to convert all formats to PNG. It worked so well though. All formats is a bit too much though. No, I appreciate the help, guys. Yeah, because I'm using STBI, the STB image.h to convert the formats. So. Let's see if I can find just a regular JPEG or PNG. I hate web.p. Maybe it's the Brave search engine. That's fair. It could be Brave. It also is only giving me... Why is it giving me a GIF? I don't want a GIF. I'm doing so much for just one image and it's so stupid. You know what? I'm gonna do std image.h webp. Not stb, not std. It does not include webp decoding. There we go. Saved me all the more time. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done. Oh my gosh, this is so stupid. I love this. Even Google software doesn't support Google's image format. Yeah, it's stupid. I hate WebP because it's like, I get that it's a smaller and more, it's a compressed file size, or file format, but it's not my favorite. This is the stupidest thing ever. Anyways, try to display only the center pixels of the texture image on the rectangle in such a way that the individual pixels are getting visible by changing the texture coordinates. I don't know why that just sounds confusing to me. Like the wording of that. What's the new question? One sec, sorry. It is try to display only the center pixels of the texture image on the rectangle in such a way that the individual pixels are getting visible by changing the texture coordinates. Try to set the texture filtering method to GL nearest to see if the pixels more clearly. Does it mean zoom? No, I think it's what it's asking is I need to use the near instead of linear. I need to try using nearest. So okay, that definitely is a lot cleaner of an image. Oh, my code's getting blocked by my cam. My bad. Let me see if I can move this. Here, I'll also zoom in more. Okay, so the code that we're looking at is right here. This is the filtering options that are currently being set. Is that any better? Let me know. Okay, so we need to change the texture coordinates. Okay, so individual pixels are getting visible by changing the texture coordinates. By changing the texture coordinates, does that mean stretching the image by making its points really far? Or am I hallucinating hard right now? That's a... Yeah, I'll copy and paste it here. I can't, oh, it looks like it's too big of a message. Here, let me just, here's the site. And I'm going to zoom in on here more. Try to display only the center pixels of the texture image on the rectangle in such a way that only the center pixels. I'm just going to try and make a few changes and see if that helps at all. Okay, so that's... So I'm assuming it's basically wanting me to change the range to where that is the weirdest looking thing I've ever seen. Let me just change all these to 0 and I'll make manual changes. Okay, so We want the center, so we could probably set these to 0.5. So no, that's not right. I guess it means to find the center pixels of an image, make the whole image render, but make only the center visible. Yeah. Kind of center outward blur kind of thing. So I am going to peek at the solution because I've been thinking about this. I just want to check where he's doing the, if I'm doing the filtering correct. So he's clamping it to the edge. Oh! I got you. Never mind, I'm not going to look at this. Okay, so we need to set these like at halfway. Basically, we need to make the whole image like smaller in a way that the texture only displays in the center. And then we need to clamp it to those coordinates, so. You can maybe try a matrix, finding center matrix pixels of a large, then blur the other. Thought of it the other way. Yeah, I think that could work too, but I mean, I think what it's saying here is we're setting all of our texture coordinates to basically like half of what they normally are. So he has all, or they have all theirs at like 0.55, 0.55, 0.55, 0.45. Like, I wouldn't have thought to use like 0.45 or anything. But I mean, I'll copy these and see. So, okay, so that makes the center visible. And now we need to clamp it. So we have ours clamped right now. So for our first image, or our first texture, texture 1. Oh, I see what's going on here. We're only setting the texture parameters for the first texture. We need to do it for the second one too. So texture 2 down here, we need to go like right here, and oh wait, not right there, sorry. Basically right here. And then for texture 2, we need to make it nearest. So I'm trying to think here. We want to repeat the texture, because the first one we want to clamp to the edge. And then this is just GL nearest, not mipmap. Okay, let's try this. Okay. And then our second one, we're gonna repeat it and then set these both to nearest. Oh, I need to make it again. I think that's pretty close. I mean, I kind of, obviously I had to look at this because I was so confused on what it was asking, but I mean, it's showing the center pixels of the texture, which if we update this from or it's PNG, so PNG and then RGBA. Oh yeah, okay, so now we have the very center of the texture and we can see the pixels. Does that make sense to you guys? I know I just got stuck to the point where I like, it's not going to be helpful or productive if I just sit here and, but it makes sense now. So like, let's close this. What we did was we set our texture coordinates to basically zoom in to the center, which is right here. Like, I mean, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but it's right in the center. And then, I mean, they just basically use like 0.5, 0.45, which is like shrinking it down to the middle. And then we take for our first texture, which is the box, we just clamp it so it basically only goes to where it's defined. And then our second texture, we repeat the same texture, which is fine, and then we also use the nearest. But yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. Sorry. Won't it be heavy if we do that for multiple images? For X render center pixels for many images, then manually clamp all. Instead, maybe we can write a method. Yeah, I totally get it. I think I get your approach there. Like, if we're doing this just for one texture, that's super over. Like, it's kind of pointless. But if we were doing it for like a large array of textures, we'd have to have a method to handle that. But I mean, this exercise isn't asking for something that big. I think it's just asking to do, we just need to use the things we learned in this chapter to do what I just did, which was find the center pixels and make them visible. And nearest, so if we didn't use nearest here for our second texture, if we did linear, you can see here that it is actually going to be more smoothed out and less pixelated. So but you can see the pixelated crate, which is fine. But if we, let's keep that as nearest and change this to linear. So yeah, we can see our crate is now not pixelated, and our smiley face is smoothed out, or it is pixelated. I mean, sorry. By its size. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, for what we're doing here, we're just practicing the different texture filtering. I mean, I haven't gotten that far to where I can start changing a lot, but this makes a lot of sense to what it just asked me to do. Because we can see here now they're both they're both very pixelated if we use nearest. Okay, our last problem, and then I will be done for the day. So I'm gonna say that one was like a half success. I had to look up the solution because I got really stuck, but at least I learned what was going on. So use a uniform variable as the mix functions. Third parameter. To vary the amount the two textures are visible. Use the up and down arrow keys to change how much the container or the smiley face is visible. Bye bye, I'll be going to sleep now. Good night and have a nice stream. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for joining. Feel free to go join the Discord, subscribe, like the video. Appreciate you being here. And I appreciate your questions. Thank you so much. I was also going to type the same. Bye. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. Have a great night. And I look forward to seeing you guys in future streams, hopefully. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. Okay, so this one's gonna, I'm not gonna lie, this one's gonna suck. I'm gonna do my best. I just want to see for the uniform, what is the type? Uniform, that's not helpful. What uniform type would I use in OpenGL for changing opacity? A float, okay. Okay, oh, okay, bye Justin, great looking your stream. I'm not very active on Discord these days, though would love to connect with you on LinkedIn, maybe Insta, dropping my handles. Awesome, yeah, message me on Discord. I'm happy to chat with you and connect. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Okay, so for our mix, we need a third variable, which is our opacity, and then basically and then we need to basically go in our main and let's see, OpenGL C++ up and down arrow key inputs. Special function. Okay. Let's try this. So I think what I can do here is GL uniform 1i GL get uniform location, and then I think we'd pass ID and then our opacity. Okay, current opacity. Oh, okay, so we can just set a float. Oh, I see. This is our opacity. And then instead of 0, we pass our current opacity. And then up here we have glfw get key. I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, let's see. Oh, I do need to change these back to normal. Key input is outside the loop. It needs to be inside the while loop, or key check needs to be. Oh yeah, that's probably a fair point. You're using uniform for integers, but opacity is a float, so it should be uniform on F. Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, in C++ you're setting opacity lowercase, but it's shader. Oh, it is opacity. Uniform isn't being updated each frame. The uniform needs to be inside the render loop, so the shader gets the updated value. is called before shader.use. Oh, look at that. Okay, so that works. I'm gonna close this and go over what they did. So okay, so they have a process input function. I think I would rather do this too. Alright, honestly, I'm not going to fight this anymore tonight. I'm pretty tired. So I think I'll come back to this. I mean, we got it mostly working. Yeah, so let's come back to this and try this again tomorrow. Got exercises mostly complete. Alright. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. I appreciate you guys all being here. Feel free to like and subscribe, and feel free to join the Discord. Have a wonderful rest of your day, guys, and thank you so much again for joining. I'll talk to you guys later.